This next story is about reproduction in the microbiome that is my yard. I wrote it as if Anthony Jeselnik were the docent in a really low-rank botanical garden. This video contains profanity, comparisons of nature with pornographic acts, and blatant disregard for good taste. Proceed at your own risk. If you're easily offended, save yourself the heartache of writing a negative comment that I'll never read and skip to the next section. If you choose to continue, check the box of tissues nearby. Welcome back to my backyard, nature's version of a cheap motel that charges by the hour. Every plant here is either trying to give up its flower, trying to spread its seed, or trying to ruin my life. Reproduction? Oh, they're doing it. Just badly. This is nature's version of a desperate singles bar at 1:58 a.m. Except instead of humans grinding on laminate flooring, it's plants yeeting DNA into the wind and praying something sticks. Let's start with the bay laurel, standing here like the prom king of trees. A smug, overgrown douche canoe who peaked sophomore year. Look at this narcissistic hunk of cellulose busting its nuts everywhere like it's auditioning for Jackass Arbor Day edition.
I'm so tall, I can do whatever I want.
Congratulations, buddy. You're tall. So is every NBA player who's had 50 kids and gone bankrupt. Now, behold the maple, the laurel's pathetic sycophant. This tree practices reproduction like a teenager who just learned to paddle his pickle, ejaculating helicopter seeds across the yard like it's trying to knock up the entire postal code. Those big-ass Adam and Eve leaves? You're not fooling anyone, buddy. You're the equivalent of a guy trying to cover his burgeoning bush beater with a throw pillow. Let's look at your future. That's what happens when you get cocky. Karma, motherfucker. Moving on to the plant microkingdom's biggest sexual failure, the Marionberry. This thing wants to pop out some crotch goblins and get on welfare so badly it's basically standing on the street corner in a miniskirt yelling, "First come, first served." Birds eat it, rodents eat it, I eat it. This thing gets more unwanted oral action than a frat house pledge. This plant has had more things in and on it than your mom. And it still can't reproduce successfully, just like most people on Reddit, thankfully. Tomatoes and peppers, the mail order brides of the backyard, imported like they're part of an audition for 90 Day Fiancé. A perfect demonstration of how invasive species happen. Human stupidity wrapped in non-biodegradable packaging. Let's talk about the star jasmine, the most pornographic thing in this yard. This plant isn't pollinating. It's hosting a botanical gangbang so sticky the bees need emotional support groups afterward. It's blasting pollen everywhere like it's trying to give the whole backyard a facial. This jasmine would get kicked off OnlyFans for violating community guidelines. And lurking like an Epstein client behind it all? Mint, the STD of herbs. I've chopped it, burned it, cursed at it, it still pops up like, "Miss me, Daddy?" Mint is the reason therapists have wait lists. Here are the morning glories, heavenly blue, nature's way of telling you, yeah, these seeds will absolutely send you on a cosmic journey and make you question your childhood. They're dying back now, but they're leaving behind a seed stash big enough to start a cult. Next up, onions, garlic, the survivors. 2 seasons in this yard is like living through a documentary narrated by Morgan Freeman. I cut their flower heads off like some mad scientist running a backroom BDSM laboratory. I'm basically cutting their genitals off, and they just let me. Real sub energy. This catnip started as a sprig last spring. I threw the old flowers back in the pot like trash, and now it's Pablo Escobar's garden. Look at this furry junkie, eyes glazed like a Krispy Kreme donut. He's so high he's reached enlightenment. He knows the secrets of the universe now. He just can't articulate them because his brain is pudding. And he's a cat. Across the way is boxwood, the plant version of erectile dysfunction. It's green, it sits there, no charisma, no sex appeal, smells like piss. Does it even reproduce? Ah, okay. Through some underwhelming micropenis flowers that make celibacy look exciting. Even Google tried to change the subject. Boxwood is the missionary position with socks on of plants. Over here we see the majestic dog turd. Notice those little white strings? Those are baby dog turd larvae taking a ride on their mother's back. How adorable. Out front, the bees are having a full orgy on the rosemary. It's a Hymenopteran screw crew. They're shaking and grinding like they got backstage passes to Coachella. Meanwhile, the rosemary is sitting there like, "Yes, finally, touch me." And I'm getting ready to prune it so hard the plant will question its life choices. Imagine blowing your load and someone shows up with hedge clippers. That's gardening, baby. And speaking of unwanted reproduction, This DEI hire patch of yard will not die. I've blasted it with salt, Roundup, vinegar, boiling water, anger, miso soup that tasted like feet. It comes back like a meth head nymphomaniac. And finally, blackberry, the Pacific Northwest's biological sex offender. This vine doesn't reproduce, it assaults. It climbs over the fence like it heard someone left the door unlocked. By July, it'll have gotten some stank on its hangdown with my entire property. Of course, this being the Pacific Northwest, pro, free water, year-round. Con, moss on every surface like pubic hair in your dad's Playboy. Moss on cracks, crevices, childhood drama, the concept of hope. Moss and emotional wounds you thought you healed. If moss became a religion out here, it would have a megachurch. But I'm doing my part. Trays of fern spars, technically more of a circle jerk. Tree trimmings I'm reanimating like biological fluffer. Seedlings under grow lights. One of them might be weed. Big Brother said it was cool. And in the fridge, seeds undergoing stratification. A fancy term meaning chilling in the dark like my hopes and dreams. A botanical sperm bank plotting to ruin my spring schedule. And that, my friends, is the glorious, disgusting, endlessly horny cycle of reproduction in my backyard. A saga of desire, failure, and questionable biological safe words. Every plant here is desperate to breed, and I'm the only one stopping them from turning this yard into a botanical bukkake.